Amanda Holden, Savile and Me. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Well, what a pair we have here. Spoon-faced narcissist, Amanda Holden, and narcissistic psychopath, Jimmy Savile. What a pairing. You might be wondering, H.G., enlighten me. How do those two come together? Savile's been dead for years. What's been going on? Well, some of you may be familiar with Amanda Holden. She once appeared years ago on Blind Date and then has become relatively famous as a consequence of appearing on Britain's Got Talent, having a radio show, and repeatedly appearing in her skimpies, and just recently actually stripping down to nothing in a radio studio. Amanda Holden is probably the epitome of if she were made of chocolate she would eat herself. A woman who some would describe as physically attractive, who regularly wants to ensure that the limelight is all on her. As I reported in the past, she made a show of herself at one of her daughter's birthday bash, making it all about her. And she regularly craves the fuel that comes with public reaction, but her methods of manipulation are fairly limited. It usually surrounds about going outside when it's rather cold and not wearing a bra, so the resultant nipple shots are plastered all over shitty publications such as the Daily Star, or telling us about the latest incidents of her baring her bottom somewhere, or running around on a beach, or getting her daughter to dress like her. A complete vain self-publicist and evident narcissist. Repeatedly, in order to assert control over people, tertiary sources, she has to appear in the press in some shape or form. And she's at it again, and this time in an even more distasteful way, which just demonstrates how self-absorbed she is and how she has no emotional empathy. Jess Battison reports in Lad Bible, Amanda Holden says Jimmy Savile tried to seduce her as a teenager when she was in a hospital. Right. Okay. So here we have Amanda Holden bringing up the past because she's no longer a teenager. Indeed, I think she's in her early 50s, and therefore we would be going back a good 30 or so years. Amanda Holden spoke out about her chilling experience with Jimmy Savile, who she claims tried to seduce her when she was a teenager. Right. Okay. Well, we know that Savile was a sexual predator, so it wouldn't be a surprise to learn that he tried to seduce somebody. It wouldn't be a surprise to learn that he tried to seduce somebody that was a lot younger than him because he didn't recognise such boundaries. The Britain's Got Talent judge said she'd ended up in hospital at 19 after accidentally cutting open her finger. She previously told Alan Carr, "When I was 19, I was cutting a cake, and I cut my finger. I still got a scar. So I went with my then boyfriend to the hospital, and they stitched it up, and they put a bandage around it. And then this man drew back the curtains and made this flippant remark that I'd try to take my own life by slicing my finger. And the man was apparently none other than the disgraced broadcaster who used his position of power in children's TV to carry out horrific and extensive abuse." Holden remembers reacting to seeing Savile and exclaiming, "Oh, that's Jim will fix it, oh my God." She claims he then said, "Do you have any gynecological problems?" The star continued, "And luckily my boyfriend was there, so he was my witness. I went, 'No,' and he went, 'I can give you one.'" Holden went on to say that she doesn't see herself as one of the victims of Savile's horrendous rhymes. I think they meant to write crimes, particularly compared to what others heartbreakingly suffered at the hands of the late broadcaster. "Do you know what?" Amanda said. "I'm saying the story flippantly because at the time I was a student, and for me it was just like, what a bizarre story. And I went back to drama school and told everyone, and there was no serious weight to it or anything. I'm not like those poor people that he has she trailed off, hinting at some of Savile's sex offences over the years. Well, there we are. Amanda Holden bringing up the past, and we know that she does so because she's a narcissist, in order to assert control over the now by making reference to a story about Jimmy Savile. Why raise it now? It's years after the event, and also years after there was a head of steam that was built up about Savile's crimes. All of that came out at least over 10 years ago. Why didn't she speak out then? The reason she speaks out now is nothing to do with highlighting Savile's behaviour and everything to do with seeking attention for herself, i.e. fuel. That her narcissism dictates we need to remain relevant and assert control over people, the general public, and draw fuel from them. So what we need to do is come up with something. Well, you got your tits out last week, so you can't do that, and you got your arse out the week before that. We're going to have to take a different tack here. You can't wear any tight-fitting clothing. You keep doing that, and the public might grow bored of it. So let's triangulate the public with reviled sex monster Jimmy Savile and bring up the past in relation to him. And thus she does so. She does so without any consideration for the victims of him. Note how she doesn't really consider herself a victim because she doesn't actually care about it. It's just an anecdote that she's using. If it's not that important to her, keep silent about it. But she can't, of course, because her narcissism drives her to make mention of it. Now, all of this, of course, is predicated on the story being true. The other aspect, which may be the case, and we don't have any evidence one way or the other, is that it might not have happened, and she's just revising history by making up an incident and then bringing it to everybody's attention now. That's entirely possible with a narcissist, of course, to invent the past, to revise that history in order to assert control in the now and draw fuel from people's reactions. Thus, there's a possibility that it didn't actually happen, and that again shows the lack of emotional empathy of Amanda Holden by inventing a story in relation to somebody that had abused lots of people and simply ignoring their pain and using the behaviour of Savile to say, oh, it happened to me too, you know. If we are to assume that it did occur, and as I say, we don't have any evidence to confirm that it didn't, other than a suggestion it might not have done because she's a narcissist, but we have to accept what she has to say, and it did actually occur. She could have mentioned it at the time, or mentioned it years ago, when Savile's behaviour was under scrutiny and was being spoken about and reported on. But she didn't. She does so now. And that just demonstrates that it's nothing to do with warning people about him, nothing to do with any kind of solidarity with the victims, and everything to do with Amanda Holden's narcissism ensuring that she triangulates the public with a sex monster for the purposes of bringing up the past in order to draw a reaction, i.e. fuel. That's all it is about, and nothing else. A clear example of this woman's narcissism in action in a distasteful way. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.